Yo, what's going on? And welcome to another edition of The Last Podcast. It's your man, Terrence J. And I know you guys are used to always seeing Shannon with me, but I got a special guest in the building. So I asked my dad to come on here and fill in. You know, we had never done a show before, and he's always talking politics and giving us feedback and commenting and supporting the show since we've been on. So I had to have him on to fill in because y'all know Colonizers Day is tomorrow. And so Shannon had to go put her eating pants on so she can get ready for her gluttonous day. So, and I know she's watching. So, yeah, I'm saying it. But y'all got to welcome in Alan Jackson. This is my dad. So, if y'all want to know where I get half of this from or why am I like I am, well, you about to find out because it's probably going to be worse than what you guys are used to seeing from me. So, you guys enjoy this great show, but we're going to get started real quick. Yo, make sure to follow us on social media. It is The Last Podcast 1. And on Instagram, it is _ The Last Podcast. So make sure you guys follow us on social media. And so I know y'all ready to get into this show. A lot of y'all are hanging out at the house, the family. So we appreciate you guys tuning in. So without that, without further ado, we got to jump into our weekly rundown. A weekly rundown is just a few topics since the last time we had a chance to talk to you guys so we can give you guys the last podcast spin. So you ready, man?
Hey, man, I'm always ready.
All right. Well, hey, let's go. All right. So we got to jump into it first. Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? She has said that she is going to step down from her position. And, this was just about the time. If you guys remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene was the lady that our girl Jasmine Crockett called beach blonde, bad built body woman, right? So when she went off on her, this was the lady she was talking about. Well, then all of a sudden, Marjorie Taylor Greene started to say that she is not standing with Trump. And you seen the picture, she's a MAGA supporter. But now she stopped standing with Trump, saying she doesn't like what Trump is doing on this factor. We think we should be able to expose this on the Epstein files. And all of a sudden, it seems like she's kind of changing her position. But I know you were saying that she's an opportunist.
It's a great opportunity. She's been in Congress now, and she's done what most people do to get to Congress. They've got in. They had the inside knowledge on how to make money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's made great money since she's been in office. Matter of fact, I heard here the other day she's somewhere about $25 million richer than she was when she started. She got her money from her dad. Her dad had a business, and basically that's where she came.
Okay, but I guess what a lot of people got confused on, she was standing 10 toes down with Trump. What was that thing that made her switch, and why? Because she was the biggest person going after Trump.
Well, think about it. He's a second term president.
Mhm.
Most time in your second term as president, those last 18 months or those last 2 years of your presidency, you know what they call a lame duck.
Yeah.
All right, now think about it. Now he's down. His numbers are in the dump. A lot of people are pulling away from him right now, and because they've started thinking about their own selves.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. These people are going to be around a lot longer than he is. What is he? 80 years old?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they just waiting on him to go on to the great big dump in the sky. Hey, so think about it. These people are going to still be in politics.
Yeah.
Marjorie, I believe, is going to run for something else in her state.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? She's after this, she's got the name recognition. A lot of people now can see that she can stand alone. That's really hard for a woman. Even a white woman in this political stand.
Yeah.
So think about it. Now, if she decides to go ahead and run for something locally, governor or something inside her state,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to say, well, Margie, she's a great American. And now she's even got her own stand saying now, instead of making America great, it's America first, America only.
That was the stance with them, was America first, right?
Right.
And the crazy thing about it is, now this is what I'm looking at is, when you talk about America first, and from how they portrayed it during the campaign, it seemed like everything has been put at the forefront, but America. You talk about the farmers are hurting. You're talking about other industries are hurting, and they're continuing to give subsidies to Argentina. Even China with the farmers, we were the biggest supplier of their soybean.
Right.
And like we don't want it, but the same thing, you give 20 billion to Argentina on they, and I think that's where people are like, yo, where's the American first part in this whole thing? Because it's not. And so even when she says America first, you got to be leery on what even her America first is.
Well, there again, Marge has rode this train until she feel like there's no more riding this train. I think she see this train's crash, and she's going to jump off the train just in time, in her opinion, just in time to get something started for herself. Hey, if she doesn't go back into politics, she's $25 million.
That's a nice piece of change.
For what? 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay, think about it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting on that contract.
You ain't get one of them, man.
25 million for 4 years. That's a good NFL.
That's a good contract.
We could have kept some of our players here for that. The thing about it is, with her and the rest of these groups, it's America first. Yeah, that was a great. It sounded good.
Yeah.
In essence, and it sold a lot of people who didn't, I say, unknowledgeable people.
It's a good selling point. Yeah,
it's America first. Well, do you realize all this America first stuff came out of China, and it didn't start here?
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? All of these industries and things that we say America first, actually, they come from somewhere else. A lot of products have been made in American.
Oh, in years and decades.
Okay, so how is America first when we need somebody else to even get the thing started?
Well, now, the funny thing about that, though, is I started hearing a lot of people get mad when Trump started saying that there's no talent here. He said there's no talent here. We got to get other people from other places. Now, I'm like, at the same time that you want to deport, and the funny thing is that and a buddy of mine sent me this thing, and I was like, dude, why do you waste 30 seconds of my day? They were saying how, well, Obama deported more people than Trump, and nobody says he's a bad guy. Obama dropped more bombs than Trump. Nobody says he's a bad guy. I said, wait a minute. So Obama deported more people than Trump. How many people you see have their windows broken into, getting pulled out of the car on the side of the road if he deported more people? How many jobs got raided and people were brought out in the fields from working, going to school if he deported more people? So there's another way to do it, right?
Gotta be.
So the stuff that we're watching now, and we're watching how ICE is going through, and I'm like, if you go deport somebody, the last place I want to go is to a job or a damn school. Them the people that seem to be trying to do it right.
Well, it's supposed to be all the criminals first, right?
Yeah.
They couldn't find
him. Obviously not, because you're going to Coca-Cola, you're going to the farms, you're going to the hotels, you're going to the schools. So where are all the criminals that are running rampant that you were supposed to be catching and deporting?
Still back in Venezuela or wherever they're supposed to be coming from. The thing about it is, the average person that comes here, if he was a criminal back home, he didn't come here to be a criminal. He's looking for a different way of life.
Yeah.
And the people that they started attacking, that line wasn't working. So they didn't find the drug dealers. They didn't find the rapists. Well, they started finding rapists, but they all had red hats on. And so we had to leave that rapist business alone.
Yeah.
They started finding the people who were marketing children, but they all had red hats on.
Yeah, they was all trying to make America great again.
They're trying to make America great again. You know what I'm saying? So the big criminal element didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So what did they had to start doing then? They start attacking the migrant guy who's picking that food that we eat.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Doing those jobs that you don't want to do. Now, they said it was going to be some black jobs out of this, and I wasn't interested in any of those, but I don't understand myself how anybody at this point can still be supporting this nonsense. Well, we keep seeing day after day that all the very thing they call somebody else is what they really are.
But that's why I always say The marketing campaign of the Republicans is so much better than Democrats.
Oh,
Their
yeah.
messaging is better.
Yeah,
Because you saying what they are calling you, they are.
exactly.
But you can never focus on what they are because they're steady calling you that.
Yeah. You're a rapist. Wait a minute. The rapist is calling somebody a rapist.
But I can't. It's a shell game. I can't pinpoint it until I stop and get rid of all the noise to say, wait a minute, who's saying what? But they never allow you to stop and think because they consistently put their message out to where I'm pointing my finger. Now I'm gonna tell you something. When we watch a lot of the stuff that Trump does, I told somebody, I said, yo, he's good. They were like, what do you mean? I said, I know what he's saying ain't right. But when he phrases it, oh, they're bad. Look at those evil people. Oh, yeah, I know about this. Nobody knows more about this than me. Oh, you can't tell me more about this. From the outside looking in with no knowledge base, that confidence, he got to know. I've learned something a long time ago. Say it with confidence. Everybody going to believe.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Say it long enough. They say if you say it long enough and loud enough,
everybody's going to believe.
They'll soon believe.
Yes. You ever heard a song on the radio you couldn't stand? After 9,000 plays, you start bobbing your head to it.
You start even saying the words, and you can like, I couldn't stand that song.
Exactly. That's the messaging that Republicans do that Democrats suck at because Democrats want to spend too much time on the moral high ground. We don't have to partake in that. Yes, you do. You do have to partake in that. 8 years have shown you for the first 4 Trump years, these 4 Trump show you need to partake in that because the moment he found a weakness, he was able to jump right back in.
Well, when they go low, we go high.
Hell with that, man. I ain't going high.
I'm tired of going. It's time for us to take the gloves off. Let's get some bare knuckle fighting going on. You know, there's been some things going on in the even with this shutdown. And I sent a couple of people a message and said, look, man, if y'all don't hold this as long as you can, I'm gonna change parties. I'm just sick and tired of giving up so easily. And we don't want to be the bad guy. They love being the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some bad guy.
Yeah.
Let's get some bad guy, man.
America responds to that.
Yeah. WWF all the way. You know what I'm saying? Hey, put them down.
And so I want to go to the government shutdown. So did the Democrats give up too early?
Man, I think they did. I think they gave in just a little too soon.
So let me I'm just asking from the other side. The Democrats, when they ended the government shutdown, the Republicans were pretty much locked in saying, we're not doing nothing. So that continuation would have went all the way through this holiday season. Air traffic would have been shut down by now. A lot of instances would have been where people couldn't get the SNAP benefits and stuff like that. So, because I don't think the Republicans are going to move at all because for whatever reason, their base, which are some of the highest recipients of SNAP benefits, all the welfare states that they talk about, they red states, all the people that voted for Trump, Mississippi, Alabama, Kentucky, Tennessee, Nebraska, West Virginia, all these are red states who run amok with the welfare. They were like it was cool.
Well, you know, the less informed are always cool. And I think that the Democrats missed a perfect opportunity. I was at home. They called me. I would have went right on the job. I would have done exactly what the Republicans do. Donald Trump is starving your children. The Republican National Congress is starving your children. And these are white children. These are not children from Afghanistan. These are not children from Venezuela. These are little white, precious children. Donald Trump is starving them. But we're too righteous for that. My deal was go. It was time to be a Republican. I would have went exactly. Listen,
Take their playbook.
you won't have any turkeys. This just going home. There will be no turkeys because you're not getting any SNAP. Donald Trump said you don't deserve any SNAP. Hey, Tennessee, back in hollers, way back in there. I mean, listen, you would have had to go ahead and go out there and tell them just that. There was no reason we won't get down and play right.
No.
I'm so tired of feeling like, come on, man, come on, you got him, get him. And it's just to a point now to where I think that they're going to lose so many people if they don't get up. If the Democrats don't get up and be more aggressive, the only hope we have is somebody like a Jasmine Crockett. I mean, that's my hero.
You know what? Now I'm gonna tell you this. In my opinion, I don't think Jasmine Crockett can garner a wide enough base. For you talking about like on a presidential level or like vice president? Or are you just talking about like in Congress?
In Congress, and
okay,
she's gonna,
okay.
And with the gerrymandered district thing they're doing now, she may have to even abandon this where she's at now and run for another position in the Senate because they're going to gerrymander these districts right out of if they get if that appeal is not held up.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So, but the major deal is the Republicans have a better messaging program.
Yeah,
and I'm thinking we need to do a draft and hire some of those people away to have them come over.
But the thing is that it seemed like somehow, some way, and I don't know if it was the introduction of Trump. I don't know if it was a intimidation factor where they backed up. But I've always said that Republicans had a better messaging platform, but it seemed like it went into overdrive once Trump came on the scene, and Democrats just sat back and watched. And I'm like, yo, where are all those political strategies that you had with the Axelrods and where are all these people at that you have put out the pasture that's no longer working in this field? You need to go get them back and say it's time to get in here and play dirty with them.
Well, that was the problem. He wasn't a standard. He was an outsider. He was an outsider. His first term, it was obvious.
Yeah.
That most people didn't think he would win. Yeah, they thought he was just an anomaly. It's just Trump. And come on now.
I called it on this show. I told him, I said, Trump is winning this thing.
But think about it now. A few years ago, all of us was rocking with Trump too.
Before he got in the position that had power.
Yeah. But
he was a TV star.
That's where he garnished all this likability. Even though people, I hear people saying, "Well, I like that he speaks his mind." Well, hell, it's empty mind. You can say any damn thing. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's brilliant.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And people think he is.
He speaks his mind. Hey, so if you speak your mind and you ain't saying nothing to somebody, an uninformed individual, that's hey, he. I don't know what he said, but he said something.
Yeah.
And I have people that since this last election and this deal that we have really kind of stopped.
Did you share it on your page?
Yeah, I thought I did.
I don't see it.
Well, hey, man, I'm a lot of things, but I ain't all this. You do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is that it's people that we haven't really taught since this election thing. You understand what I'm saying? And then there was some that we were doing it on a regular basis, but they got tired of me dragging them. So they just said, hey, I had one partner. He says, hey man, we're not going to do any more of this political stuff. Why? Why can't we do it now? You was telling me, oh, how great he was, and now you're going silent. So
yeah,
it's there we are. I think that right now, in the state that this country is in, you know, we're going to have to stop looking to these politicians anyway to save us.
Well, I've always said, especially when you talk about black people, we are always looking for a messiah. We always look for somebody to come and save us. The problem people have with Barack Obama is because he didn't come down with a halo on his head and turn water into wine and and banish all white people away and give you Cadillac Escalades and Air Jordan. Like he didn't come in and automatically make you say, "Oh my God, we're on top now because the president is black." But you know,
He was black.
well, that's
Hey, but that's what I'm saying. I got people now that's still saying, "Oh, Obama didn't do nothing for us." I said, "Man, who was you? What was you? You wanted a black president. You wanted a black man to be the black president of the United States, or you wanted a president that was black of the United States of America." I say that's what you got.
yeah,
See, he was everybody's president,
yeah,
not just a black president. So you felt like he didn't do anything for you, right? A lot of people did. So he was number what, 44?
mm-hmm.
What is the other 43? Tell me what, if you can sit here and tell me what the other 43 done that was so fantastic.
Yeah,
I'll say of the 43, maybe two, three of the rest did anything that was specifically relating to you that I can think of. And I would say Kennedy in his movement.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Abraham Lincoln, even though that wasn't his major deal, he had a forfeit. He helped you by
Yeah,
forfeiture. Because he said, "Be it not for the Union, I wouldn't save them Negroes. I wouldn't free the slaves.
yeah,
They working too good."
yeah,
But I always say, one day Lincoln was sitting there and looking at the bag one day and thinking, "Man, they are them Southern boys really kicking our butt." And he looked out in the garden. There was a bunch of Negroes with hoes and rakes in their hands. He said, "Well, if I would have given them boys some guns and send them south, that might change this thing."
mm-hmm.
And that's basically what happened.
Yeah.
It wasn't the fact that he wanted to free the black man. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I don't think he was so self-righteous that he said, "Oh man, they should be free."
That has never happened in America. Actually, matter of fact, they were going to do you much like the Jews. Then when they was talking about they were going to re-emancipate you.
Yeah,
They were going to send you to. They were saying, "Hey, find you a place to go,
yeah,
and which is where we'll send you."
yeah,
But I don't know who's going to pick that cotton when you leave. So I think, wait a minute, we might ought to see if we can do something else. So you know that the Lincoln era, and then okay, we said Lincoln and Johnson. So I'll say Johnson, Lincoln, and Kennedy,
mm-hmm.
and even Kennedy himself wasn't your major interest. You see how reluctant he was to move on certain things.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
understand what I'm
yeah.
saying?
With the civil rights, yeah,
With
yeah,
civil rights, still.
yeah.
You know, he was really slow to move on.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But it was ABC, CBS, and NBC actually that brought about that change because people started to see themselves.
mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? When they would show sticks and beating children on the head, turning the water hose on, the rest of the world began to see that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was the big catalyst in the change. There it wasn't so much that they were the politicians were so great.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to the fact of Barack Obama, Barack Obama he done what he could do. He was not the black president of the United States. He was a black president of the United States of America.
Yeah.
If you were looking for a Messiah, you know, keep praying, Jesus come.
But
Jesus come.
but that's always the thing because we always look. It's a reason that they elevate a pastor to his position and he's the end all be all because he's the savior. And people don't believe that, but I tell people all the time, yo, man, y'all treat pastors like LeBron James. You're not a Cleveland Cavalier fan. You that pastor's fan. If that pastor moved church, all y'all moving church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why? Because you have made him your God. And so we're always looking, oh man, we just need somebody to come in and be the person who is going to be. And really, this is my opinion. We want somebody to come in and do it for us.
Yeah. Oh, We lazy.
Yeah. And so,
Lazy.
no, you know what? I'm gonna tell you this: we're comfortable.
Yeah, we comfortable being. We don't have to work in the field no more.
Yeah.
We have all got into the big house, and we ain't about to make no waves in this ocean as long as we can stay in the big house.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right now, you know me, and there is there's a movement right now that a lot of us have not thought about. We're being shut out every day, bro. We are we're at a position in this country to where they're trying to eliminate the black man again.
Oh yeah.
We,
Yeah.
when they don't need us, and we're still looking for somebody to come and save us. And in the midst of being trying to waiting on somebody to save us, we're being eradicated one by one by one by one.
But see, but the black man has always been the number one target. It's and that's always been. I don't care who else you see getting focus on. It's always we're the number one target. Half of this stuff when you talk about with all the immigration and all the ICE, they're waiting for us to come in and join the fight. All of this stuff would drastically change if we would jump out there in those rallies and those No Keen Day parades. If we got out there and start marching, all of that stuff would change, and you would see the violence level from law enforcement back to the crowds go through the roof because it'd be like, we got them.
Yeah.
Now we got you, and all we got to do is do something to one of you, and then we bring everybody else in. And I'm telling you, it's all a ploy because when you go through and you pull out the workers that you've been getting to work for cheap or little to nothing, and you take them out of this system, you need workers to fill it. Well, I can't make you as a free man go get that job down there.
Right.
I have to imprison you, and now you're forced to go work over there.
Make America great again.
That's how you make America great again. You bring back slavery. And I keep telling people slavery's coming back. And they were like, I said, it's already here in certain forms. But first of all, think about this. This whole, oh man, these illegal immigrants and we got to go out and get them. That was always a Republican campaign speech. That wasn't real action they was going to take. You know why? Too many rich people make money off the people that come over to work, whether they're working on green cards, visas, work visas, or they're here legally and they're working without, papers. They make too much money off of them. These major corporations never wanted to see them leave.
Nope.
But if you have that vacuum and take them out, who do we put in that place?
I don't know.
Because it was Obama who said, hey, we're going to stop privatized prisons. And you know why we were going to stop privatized prisons? Because that took away some of the incentive to lock your black ass up.
Oh, well, exactly.
I know everybody ain't criminals, but you ain't got to be a criminal for them to lock you up. There's a lot of people got exonerated who wasn't criminals. They was locked up, wasn't it?
You just have to, exactly. You just have to be bought into the system. And that's the name of the game. That's what they had, the frequent stops, going into the neighborhood. Look, if they send you in there constant enough, you'll find somebody.
Oh yeah.
And even if they're not guilty, bring them on down here anyway. We'll run them through the
system.
Maybe we can find something on them. If we can't find something on them, we can make up something and put it on.
And if you get down there, don't have a fight while you're in there. There you got to stay.
Not only that, the whole deal was that if we really stop and look at it now, the privatized penal system, it was made even more profitable. They set it up. Remember that meeting they had in 1991 in the early late 80s when they had all the rap groups? Hey, baby, let's sing about it.
Mm-hmm.
I look, man, we could bounce around from topic to topic, and that is one of the most graphic deals now. We are the only people in America. I've never heard Alan Jackson sang a song about a woman that he called a babe, one that he called a 304. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We are the only group of people that castigate our women to a certain level. You know what I'm saying? We glorify the crime. But that's not us. That's the power that be.
Mhm.
Those are the same people who own the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
They own
Record
the
labels.
newspaper.
Yeah.
The private penitentiary. We have the whole world against us, man.
But I'm gonna tell you also, I am a firm believer that there are behind the scenes conversations on how to entice us to do those things. But then here's the flip side. If there is a power working over here, my question is, what power is on this side? Because when you have an artist who don't rap about that, don't sing about that, and you have a group of people who are intelligent enough to understand the difference in what it brings, when they come to your town for $30, we don't go support them. If you don't come support me when I'm trying to do this thing the right way, and the record label say, yo, you good, I'll give you $1 million right now, but you got to change your whole rap lyrics. I tried to come to your city and do good music. I tried to come to your city and be positive. I tried to do this tour. I funded it myself, and y'all didn't take it. Cardi B said something one time. She said, I made a song that said, be careful with me, talking about be careful with my heart. She said, y'all didn't buy that shit. She says, I was back to selling pussy. So she said, I tried. Y'all didn't buy it. She said, so I got back on the stripper pole. And I started rapping about that because that's what you wanted. And I said, that makes sense because, matter of fact, in that same breath, I ain't never heard nobody say, y'all checking for me and listen to my music. She said, let me name y'all these other women rappers who got good lyrics, who talk about good. She took her platform, highlighted these other ladies who ain't selling on the pole and said, y'all need to be listening to them. People say, yeah, whatever, get back on the pole, shake it, twerk it, bounce it, and that's what we rocking with.
Let me ask you something. And this may kind of bring this music thing. Remember when you were young and you used to ride in the car?
Mm-hmm.
You used to ride around in the Trans Am. What did we listen to?
105.7 The Oasis.
Why?
Hell, I just thought you liked jazz.
The reason why we didn't listen to 104 and that music is because I knew what it could do to you.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I knew that you would be, if I allowed you to listen to that. Now, see, I grew up, we couldn't listen to, man, Mahalia Jackson was like, my mother thought Mahalia Jackson.
Beyonce.
That was Beyonce at the house. You know what I'm saying? So, listen, we didn't listen to that. And see, because there was a firm belief that what went into your ears, on both sides, they said that if it meets in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't allow you to listen to that music because I thought it was harmful to you. It would be harmful to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I specifically turned it off 104 because I had been listening to.
Yeah.
I had been listening to the music before you got in the car.
Yeah.
But when you got in the car, I flipped the channel down to the Oasis. So that way we didn't have to worry about that kind of negativity being brought into the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That was the major thing. So it behooves every parent. We are the guardians of what comes into our children. We talk about the music.
Yeah.
And we talk about this and we complain about it, but you put it on and you ride in the kids. Now, folks like me, now we got grandkids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do I look like? Bump to bump, Cardi B, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What kind of example would I be setting? I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump. You got your kids singing this song, and right now they don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
But by the time she gets 12, she understands what a little bump and grind is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Inconvenience yourself. You're just talking about being comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Stop being comfortable with the norm.
Yeah.
You have to get out of the norm. I turned the channel on purpose. I know what pissed you off. I know you got in the car, heard it when you pull up. Don't touch my radio.
But you know what? And I'm gonna tell you, I never, even growing up, I knew my dad listened to the Oasis. You know, I never really had a problem with it. I never had an issue with that's what we listened to, because look, there was one thing. You was the Oasis, and mom was listening to Soul 73 KKDA. I was either getting blues or jazz. And so, but you know, here's the thing about that though. You never, so it was never a quote unquote band where I could listen to it. You just showed the example that you will listen to it, and you gave me an option to hear something other than what I was going to hear with my friends or on my own or at school or whatever the case may be. So, and that's what I always talk about. Even today, I tell my daughter all the time, I said, you know, it's not the fact that the ratchet music is out there, because it was out there when I was there, but there was also something else. There was R&B songs talking about love. There was songs that was just kind of clean, wholesome songs, this and that. And you had this. Now all the other stuff has disappeared, and you have the, you know, matter of fact, I played a song and I said, what do you hear now? And she was like, that every song is, you know, sex this, sex that, sex this. And I said, do you hear love? She said, I don't hear love. I said, okay, I'm gonna go back and play you the sex songs from my day. She was like, yeah, those, and she listened to them. She's like, oh, those are just different. It's so much raunchier now. And so a lot of times I'm playing, we in the car, I'm playing other music. You know, we have our look as she's gotten older, but as a younger child, I didn't play that music around my daughter.
I wonder why.
And that, but that was the I didn't hear that from my parents. I wasn't going to do that. And there was, I'm not, matter of fact, it was funny because my uncle was saying his daughter Camille, she was in the car, and there was a song by Next back in the day. The song said, baby, when we grinding, I get so excited, I feel a little poke coming through. He said she was singing it. I've heard the song, but I ain't listened to the song. But when her voice said, I feel a little poke coming through, he said, what did she just say? He said, I had to listen to the song. He said instantly, it was like, we're not listening to that anymore.
Right.
Because, well, my dad, it was cool. My daddy thought it was cool. I listened to it. I perpetrate this. I do this because you set forth that order. And I think that's where a lot of times we have that issue at. Nobody wants to be inconvenienced and do something and take themselves out of the norm.
Nope.
And people think it's cute. When they kid is singing, I don't see nothing on bum ground or twerk it, shake it, back that ass up. That it's cute.
Oh,
until they're 12 and they don't back it up and they pregnant.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we go into and we have these conversations about that. But again, we're talking about the powers that be. When you talk about a lot of this stuff is already orchestrated. People don't even understand. Like now they go through and they say, how many prisons need to be built? And shout out to my guy, Judah, man. He told me 3 zip codes in Dallas make up about 50% of the Texas prison population. 75216. There was another one in South Dallas and one in Pleasant Grove. Now you gotta understand, we got Houston, we got Austin, we got San Antonio, he says 3 of them make up about 50% of the population in Texas prison.
Well, I'm a proud member of the 216. I knew how to stay up out of there. That wasn't for me, bro.
But also you got to tell them we lived in 75216. But why did we move though?
Well, the 216, it's a parent's job to do the best they can do for you. So I have no problem with anybody taking their kids to wherever they think they're going to be best at.
Yeah.
At that time, it was an opportunity to go across the red zone. I grew up in an area in the 216 that wasn't but one bank. That bank had moved down there between 67 and 35.
Mm-hmm.
So just enough to stay. Say we still here, but we're not really here. If you think about it,
It was one bank.
it was one bank.
That was the only bank.
That was the only
right
bank.
there on the corner.
The other bank. You got to think about it. There was a bank over in was up off Beckley. I think it was now it's Bank of America.
Yeah.
Okay, now basically,
Yeah.
there were a couple of
that was
banks.
that was north Oak Cliff.
It was going north
Mhm.
Oak Cliff.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you talking about from the red zone area? There was one bank. I grew up at a time when I was a kid. There was that bank that moved up there used to be on Illinois and Corinth. That bank moved up there as time changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There was no money being lent.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things in that. So where we are right now, and we're still in that same area, and it's in that same thing. Even the banks that are there now, they're just little satellite banks. There's no big, and that is that's a place for you to go cash your check. They've come up with over the years to where there have been some lending done in those areas, things like that. So we're still in the process, but the neighborhoods are changing.
Mm-hmm. Neighborhoods are changing, and the demographics are changing.
Demographics.
But what one of the things is though, I mean, you told me, you said, look, you looked around the neighborhood and said, if I stay here, these are the options. No matter how well intentioned you and mom was, when you looked at the neighborhood, you knew what I was going to see every day. And you said, I had to move you to another area because we didn't leave Oak Cliff.
No,
we just went to a different part of Oak Cliff. Because I tell people all the time, in my neighborhood, everybody was a two-parent household because you couldn't afford to live there back then if you didn't have two incomes, right? So no matter who house I went to, there was a dad in the house. There was a the level order establishment to the point to where I'm telling you, even back in the 90s, knowing history, it was as close to when you talk about growing back up in the 60s and 70s as you could at that time. Because no matter who house I went to, you could go and talk to a dad at the house and know, like, this man is running his house, this man is running his house, and I know they ain't doing nothing at none of these places that that this person gonna allow to have.
Right. They can say what they want to say about us, but it's been proven that we black men intentionally stay in their kids' lives. We have this stereotypical deal of negativity being put up on us, but that's not true. I mean, what are you, 45 now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, think about it. I said this the other day, and I didn't get a chance to say this. It was your birthday and all this and that, so I didn't go out online and get off salt. But there came a time at 45 years ago, I had to make a decision whether I was going to smoke dope, you know what I'm saying, tote a gun, or be a dad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I had to make a decision whether I was going to smoke dope, tote a gun, go to jail, or be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
I smoked a little dope, but hey, it wasn't worth it. I had to make a decision. I said, is this worth where I'm going to be at? Is it worth me losing my job? Is it worth doing this and doing that? Make those decisions. That's where we are right now. And so, and I don't claim myself to be nothing special because I work with a dozen other men, black men every day who had to make that same decision.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some of our friends didn't make that decision.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's that. You know what I'm saying? Now, matter of fact, speaking on that, parenting and this and that, I saw something here the other day on I was watching, I was on Facebook. Did anybody see the little girl who had the little testimony in church? Who?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the test?
Yeah. Who said her mom?
I wanna. She said, They said, what are you grateful for? I'm grateful for my stepmother who listens to me. And the people came unglued.
Could you imagine a church full of ladies that thought that a lady couldn't be bad? That's what I posted because I heard I saw and I heard a lot of female voices chastising this girl for talking about this woman. Now, I don't know if this girl is having some teenage rebellion or whatever the case may be, but I'm gonna tell you what, you didn't help nothing by the way you took that on.
I'm the stepmama now. Oh, y'all done messed up. Baby, y'all done messed up.
But let's look at the optics of that. And I'm speculating. Stepmom means what? Daddy's around.
No. Stepmom means daddy got a new wife.
That means daddy's around.
Exactly.
Okay. So in most cases, you don't go to daddy's house and daddy don't have, most men got some type of order, some type of something. She said, I'm happy for my stepmom who listened to me more than my. First of all, she tried to stop and now she said, I can't say that. They pressed her. Oh, okay.
Oh,
you gonna press me? Cool. And then we got to put the oil on you. And she was looking at them like, I don't care about none of this. Y'all take all this and go to hell. I don't care because I said what I said. And they all came up. What you not gonna do?
Open that door and let them demons out of here.
Man,
let them demons out of here.
Listen, that bothered me so bad.
Oh man.
Because you asked this girl for her truth. Now here's the thing. She could be going through a female rebellion. I mean, not a female, teenage rebellion, right? She going through a teenage rebellion. The stepmom might let her get away with this and that. But you know what? The better thing to do is to say, well, why do you feel that way, baby girl?
Yeah.
What do and let her explain. And if she starts saying, my mom, is just too strict, we can talk about that. But if her mom is not listening to her, we need to talk to mom about that. Mom, why is she saying this? What conflict? But see, there was no wise counsel in that group.
Nope.
It was only chastisement of how dare you go against the sisterhood, basically.
I didn't see no brothers in the meeting.
I saw one dude come up there and I looked at him really closely and I was like, yeah.
He must be the one that locked the door or something.
He came up. I want to say he came up and bought the oil. And he came up, but he looked like he came up at the back and called one of the ladies on the one of the ladies, hey, you get up here. And he was the only one showed up in the picture. But then everybody else, and I was just watching. They moved the other little kids like away from her. So now that's you ostracizing her. And now all these grown women, what you're not gonna do and how you ain't gonna do, and get that door, open this door, and we gonna do, and the other woman come up and slap on the forehead, and I'm like, yo.
But what if she had said, I'm glad for my stepdad. I'm glad he listened to me. What would happen? Would you think the same thing would happen?
No, because that would have shined the light that mama done got her a good man, and wouldn't have been none of that.
Oh man.
I said the same thing. If this was flipped and she said that, I'm glad he listened to me more than my dad. Well, your daddy he ain't never been around. It would have been an opportunity to, amen, hallelujah.
Well, I kind of agree with that simply because on the mere fact that if that brother, if she had said that, she would have been
praised.
She'd have been praised.
But no. The mother would have been praised.
Yeah, honey, you got your good one this time.
Yeah, the mother would have been praised because that means that she has gotten a good man that the daughter is now saying, and then that would have been an opportunity for the rest of them who all knew whoever the ex guy was or the baby daddy was to talk about him and how he wasn't no good. Not how she didn't pick a good guy, but how he wasn't no good.
Well, but the flip side of all of that is this: if you have gone online, see the women that have gone, that church might have to move.
Oh yeah.
That church might have to move.
Yeah.
because it's been on fire with the backlash.
Yeah.
And some of these sisters have stood up.
Shout out to the ladies who, because I watched them. They
Yeah,
came on, was like, how dare y'all do that little girl like that?
Oh Lord, that's why folks ain't going to church now.
Yeah, yeah,
because if this is what you're gonna do to me,
yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? We look. There is so much in this that young girl. I hope somebody gets to her and has a real good conversation, who can help her with whatever the situation is going on with her. It's important. You got to talk to these young folks.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and I think that is important that somebody, and like I say, hopefully, if the stepmom is listening to her, then they can have that conversation. But like you said, the stepmom is like, oh,
bingo, boo, boo y'all, boo y'all. Hey, next time you gonna put some respect on my name.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's gonna be a whole other conversation.
I ain't just KK from out around the way. You know what I'm saying.
No.
So hey, your daughter's listening to
me. Yeah.
And if that is the case, then you should. If your daughter's listening to somebody, or if your son is listening to somebody, you should really try to make it have a bridge with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't like you, but I gotta work with you.
But think about it. But think about it. So because he has somebody now that somehow, some way, this girl has attached to enough to speak it in public.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say usually in situations of separation or divorce, and I tell people this all the time. They say, well, women they go and they file for divorce 70 to 80% of the time, right, in relationships. I said, let me break this down to you. They said, well, the men, why do they just stay? I said, first of all, men are different. There's a lot of times when, okay, well, I signed up for this, I'm in this, good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. We figure out a way to make it work. We try to have it, but I said, once kids come into play, here's the difference between men leaving and women leaving. When a man leaves, he leaves not intentionally, but it looks as he's left the family.
Right.
He's left everything that he said he loved.
Right.
When the woman leaves, she takes all of the stuff that she loved. So when mom leaves, well, mom took me with her. Mom loves me. When dad leaves, he left us.
Yeah.
It takes a woman, a special woman, to be able to say, no, baby girl, your dad left me. He didn't leave you, or, your son, or whatever the case may be, because a mother going to family court, 99.9% of the time, the kids are going to be awarded to her.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means that I don't even have a chance to get my kids, even if I am the more suitable parent, because it's always going to have favor to her. So that means that I'm going to be received as leaving behind. And now when I leave and go start my new life here, it's almost like the look of it's like, hey, you forgotten about us. You over here.
Yeah.
Mom left. She took us with her. Mom had it. And I said, that's why when men look up and like, I can't leave, because the scenario, the story on this is not going to play in my favor.
Right.
And I always say, there was one line in the Tupac song, Dear Mama. He said, even though you were a crack fiend mama, you always was a black queen mama. And I said, how many times have you ever heard, even though you was a crack fiend daddy, you were a black king daddy? You would never get that benefit of the doubt if you make a mistake.
No.
You don't. And I had a buddy ask me today, he said, when do I get a chance to make a mistake? I said, you don't. He said, my wife, she can do stuff. She can be having a bad day, come on, talk to me crazy. If I raise my voice, oh my God, you're hollering at me. Why you this? Why you? He said, well, I couldn't have had a bad day because you had them quite frequently. I talk a little slick today. My voice is a little right. He said, I got to whisper, you get a chance to holler, but you had a bad day, so it was okay, no matter what. He said, when do I get a chance? I said, you don't. You don't get a chance. I said, you got to be perfect all day, every day. He said, man, I can't do that. And I said, oh, I understand. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you don't get that opportunity.
No.
And so I think that's where when we start looking at, I'm like, yo, man, it's different for guys. I said we have to look at this from a total different standpoint, because again, we could be financially available to be able to take care of our kids.
Yeah.
But the Court of Steel Award, they will. I've seen, and I've known of cases where guys were paying child support and they had the kids, and they had to go back and say, why am I getting charged? And the judge was like, oh, we thought the woman had the kid. I mean, the court automatically assessed that, right? And so we don't always get that opportunity to be able to have that, and as we were going back, just talking about raising kids and making decisions. Men make decisions a lot of times for the greater good of everybody, and we don't get a chance to have that. Well, this is for me. And the moment you do, everybody seems to fall apart. So, but that's the whole thing is make sure you're able to be inconvenienced, make the best decisions you can make for your kids. And yeah, I learned something a little while ago. And I used to always give my dad props and credit about something. I thought he was just making this huge sacrifice. I couldn't get the Jordans when I was a kid, right? My dad would always say Jordans for kids who can dunk. And he was like, I'm only 6'1" and your mama 5'4", you ain't going to the NBA. I was like, yeah, what the Jordans though? But I remember we moved to another house, different neighborhood. I knew the house was more expensive, whatever. So I would always say, yeah, my dad, made the sacrifices so we could live in a better neighborhood and whatever. So I didn't get a chance to get the Jordans. And one day my dad said, oh, I could have bought you them Jordans. He was like, yeah, but if I'd have bought them for you, then you would have learned how to buy them for yourself. I said, man, I've been giving you credit and props thinking you done made some sacrifice.
Let me tell you the real truth. One day you were in the backyard and you were talking to our next door neighbors of Justin, Corey, and his brother, the older brother. And I heard you back there talking about you was gonna get some joy about these tennis shoes that you was gonna get. I see those three boys there. Those three boys' parents were my parents. Those three boys with me growing up. Didn't got no joy. Boy, I got a pair of Converse. I got about 13, 14 years old. I cherish them shoes. I would take them off almost, and how you see these kids walking with them, and boy, I bought them shoes home, got up out of them quick as I could. They had to last. It was a quirk I got though.
Yeah.
All right. So when I heard you over there talking that you get about the tennis shoes you was going to get, and I knew that you was going to be out there with those other kids who couldn't get them. It was three of them. And that folks couldn't buy no. I could have bought you them tennis shoes, boy.
Yeah.
I could have bought you them damn $100 tennis shoes. But you was talking. So I decided, I said, you know what? Nah, you ain't gonna get them. Because you ain't gonna be out there bragging amongst them other kids with who couldn't get them.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't gonna do that. And I didn't think that it was a good deal to do. And besides, you still can't talk.
Yeah. He said, go get an NBA contract. You get all the Jordans you want.
Contract, we'll get you one of them. But listen, the growing up, if anybody's out there who went to school with me, we used to have this deal called Best Dress.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that those kids that were best dressed, I'm out here driving the bus now. I'm picking up best dressed. The guy was best dressed a couple of years older than I was.
Yeah.
Well, all he ever learned how to do was dress.
Yeah.
He had a rack of clothes getting on the bus. Where he was riding the bus.
Mm-hmm.
He with clothes. Bruh, I'm one best dressed. I jumped in the ride. This is just a mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's right, wrong, not. But it was the thought. The biggest deal was You wasn't gonna get them tennis shoes to be out there to be able to uh, be over those other kids. I didn't think it was a good idea.
Well, we moved, man, and the kids around me, everybody had them. I still couldn't get them.
No, you didn't need them. You didn't need them because I thought I always thought that those over. I had guys that I knew that growing up, and
You listen. We would ride all the time, and he'd be like, "See that kid right there? They had all the new shoes. They had all new clothes. Matter of fact, they were the only kids in the school that had cars, and they out here standing on the corner asking for change." And you would always tell me, "Listen, all those kids that got all of the stuff, those are the kids that's gonna grow up and not have it." And you know the funny thing about it, all the kids that had all of the stuff, who had all of the shoes, had the jackets, had all this other stuff, those kids are in jail. They are dead. They're on the corner asking for change. People, classmates are giving, money to go get them something to eat. And I've watched this, and I'm like, yo, man, that was so true. And matter of fact, I just bought up jackets. Back in the day, you had the starter jackets. I wanted a starter jacket so bad. My first starter jacket was a Texas Rangers jacket. And my dad said, "Son, I'm not going to go buy you nothing to be buried in. I'm not going to buy you nothing that's going to get you killed." And I know ain't nobody killing you for a Texas Rangers starter.
That's what Texas Rangers was nothing. The Texas Rangers was absolutely zero. I bought that jacket. And I said, no, I had watched on the bus a kid get robbed. I pulled up to the stop, kid standing there, and he normally rides with me. He didn't ride. So I pull up a little bit, and I'm going like, why is this kid not getting on the bus? Well, he's not getting on the bus because there's a boy down there in the front of him with his hand in his pants with a pistol. So when they do get on the bus, they don't have no starter jacket. They don't have no tennis shoes on. But I wait on him to get on the bus. And he's, I said, what's wrong? He's, they took my tennis shoes out. And I had talked to the same kid. I said, I told you wasn't no Raider. I told you wasn't a Raider. He had a Raider jacket. Mm-hmm. I took the Raider jacket. Mm-hmm. I said, boy, you're not no Raider. You know what a Raider is? I said, a Raider would have took. A Raider would have been still out there fighting.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I said, I told you wasn't no Raider. I said, go on, let's see if we can't get you on home. No tennis shoes off.
Yeah.
But listen, life is funny. And here we are today. You understand what I'm saying? It could be a whole lot different. Things could be a whole lot. Life could be a whole lot different. It's not what you have. These things that make you who you are. It's the will of the desire that you have to go and make something, to get these things. If I hadn't been told no, always made me want to say yeah.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? If I had gave them to you, you never earned them.
Mm-hmm.
You never earned them.
Yeah.
You never, if you never earn anything, then you don't know which way to go. So I tell my favorite story of my dad. I had an old car he had gave me, but everything I had to get it fixed. One day we were out there, and the car started making noise. And I said, man, I pulled up, hey man, is the car making noise? He said, yeah. He said, okay. Run, go get me my tube. I run and go get the tube. He said, pop the hood. He said, where is it coming from? I said, it sounds like it's coming from right there. He turned and walked away. I said, where are you going? He said, you found out where it was coming from?
You got a tube?
You got the tube? He said, figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Been figuring it out ever since.
Mm-hmm.
See, he gave me everything I need.
Mm-hmm.
He gave me the opportunity. Gave me the tools with the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? He helped me locate the situation. Then all I had to do was fix it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. And that's the premise of my life. If you're given the tools, you're given the opportunity, and you should be able to do some of this yourself. Nobody's here to do your life's work for you. You have to figure it out. Figure it out. I've been figuring it out ever since.
And I think that's a great way to wrap up the whole thing is that when you talk about giving the tools, and I think as black people, there are a lot of tools that we've been given. Are we willing to actually use them? Or when somebody gives us a tool, helps us locate it, and walk away, do we put the tools down and just sit on the sideline and say, well, I guess they ain't gonna fix it, they ain't gonna get fixed? Because I think so many times we've gotten so passive and we want somebody to come fix it for us when we got tools in our hands, we got ability, we got know-how, we've got history, we've seen it. But are we uncomfortable enough to make the change?
No, we're not. And like you say, on the wrapping up deal, listen, before we go tonight, I I'm gonna say this. There's a change coming in this country. We can see it, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you that stuck around through the program long enough, there's gonna come a time that this very thing that we're talking about, uh, working it out, fixing it. If you're not prepared, if you're not prepared for what's coming on, there were 41 million people here the other day. They were about to be home. Now, are those 41 million people? Are they having a crab ball this for Thanksgiving?
Oh, they turn it up this thing. They got their stamp back.
They got their stamps back. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this: you better put some of them stamps up. Leave that crab ball alone. I ain't got a crawfish for a crab ball. You better buy you some beans, some rice, and some staples to get through this next deal. We never know when it's coming, and so there again. So you've got you if you're not willing to make yourself uncomfortable, the same people, the 41 million people here the other day that were threatened to be hungry, going to turn around right around here. Was the day after they eat all this money, eat up the crab ball, they're going to take the rest of their money and go out and make Black Friday great for the same people who was talking about starving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that they didn't know that this one was coming.
Right.
Matter of fact, because a lot of people didn't even pay attention to the news to even hear about this possible coming. And then the idea and the mindset is, this ain't gonna be nothing. Don't worry about it. They'll figure it out. They'll get us everything back. And you went through this whole time where you wasn't receiving it. And then you hit that month timeline, and then oh my God, we're not getting this money. And for those who really did need the money, my question is, once you getting the benefits back, what are you doing with it? What are you buying with it? Are you buying a lot of stuff that can go bad in the next 2 weeks? Are you buying stuff that'll store? Are you buying stuff that you say, listen, if they give it back to me, next time I'll be able to go 2-3 months without needing
What at least a couple of weeks. You know what I'm saying? With a couple of weeks. 20 pounds of rice, Sam's, $12.75. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Big sack, 50-pound sack of beans, $36. How do I know?
Because you got them.
Yeah.
And you ain't on Snap.
No.
So you're taking your money and preparing, and you're not worried about them taking that benefit away. But we all at some point are at jeopardy of possibly losing something.
People had great jobs here the other day. We had
good government jobs.
Good government jobs. Good government jobs. They had great jobs. Mm-hmm. Some that we wish we had at points. But those same people are out there in that line trying to get a turkey. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So don't take for granted. I say every day that I am grateful for where I'm at right now. But we can't get to the point to say that this doesn't involve us.
Mm-hmm.
This can't touch us. Because we're all back to that deal about the migrant workers, this and that. We're all in this loop some kind of way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all in this same deal together.
Yeah.
So it's we got to be prepared. If you won't prepare, you're either lazy or you're just dumb, or you just delusional to think that it can't happen to you.
Yeah.
And if you got to ask the question, if you're prepared, that answers your question.
So you said 41 million people. There are about 300 million people. So 41 out of 300 were in a situation to where life instantly changed like that. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people to think that could be hungry.
Yeah.
And if these people don't get the money, then that means the people that work at the store, that means that some of them gonna lose some hours because ain't no people coming to the store.
Yeah. during a thing like a government shutdown. So if you work in anything anything that had to do with transportation, well then those people, it was a domino effect that could have happened that we hadn't seen the likes of since 2008, when all the people who were because you remember, you work for GM. Listen, what came with your paycheck was a new Yukon or Tahoe. Everybody was rolling them off the line. And then all of a sudden, we ain't making them no more. Gas prices done went up to the point nobody wants them.
Yeah.
You stuck with a car payment if you can even pay for it. And then you had to put gas in it where you can't. And all of a sudden, the banks start failing. Everybody who had these houses, subprime lending, all this stuff started failing left and right. And people's lives were being changed. And that could happen at any given time because it only takes this much of the supply chain to get messed up.
Exactly.
Before the ripple effects hit you and you don't even know you can be hit.
If you didn't learn anything from COVID, how many of y'all had worried about your toilet paper?
Yeah.
Paper towel. You can't eat that. You understand what I'm saying?
The supply chain.
The supply chain.
Yeah.
That's what the deal with the immigrants is right now.
Mm-hmm.
When the food chain breaks. Ladies and gentlemen, the whole deal is to, I watch different people who are what they call preppers.
Mm-hmm.
And people who prepare for the worst of things that happen in society. If the lights go out, they got a generator. If the food gets short, they got some stuff they done canned, put up, dry. All they need is some water and some fire, and they're gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter if Walmart don't open for 6 weeks, they're gonna eat.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? They're gonna eat. Now, if you can't go right now in your house after this Thanksgiving, meal, and if you can't live off what's in your house for the next 2 weeks, without having to go to Walmart, without having to go to the store, you ain't prepared.
Yeah.
And you're actually negligent.
And you know what? And the funny thing you say that, when Dallas went through that storm a couple of years ago, and everybody lost power, I said, yeah, that's not happening to me no more. I went and bought a generator. Because the power go out again, I'm gonna be able to generate some power.
Yeah.
And so why? Does that solve all my problems? No, but that solved the problem that I recognized that I had during a crisis.
Matter of fact, if you need one, we have a great big sale this week. We're gonna have a great big sale this week, girl. That's right. That's right.
Don't buy TVs, buy generators.
Don't buy TV, buy a generator.
Buy bags of rice.
That's
beans,
right. Beans,
canned meat.
You got beans and bologna. Listen, we got to get smarter than where we've been. Mm-hmm. We got to. If COVID didn't teach me one thing, it taught me that there's a supply chain. That if that supply chain gets broken, then that's if we're forced to stay in our house. Back to the deal I was talking about, the people that do the talk to prepping. Mm-hmm. One guy comes on, and I watch him on a frequent, and he says, "You know what? If you haven't seen me lately, it's because they pulled my stuff down. They've taken me down off of air. I keep getting blocked here and I keep getting blocked there." And think about, why would they want to tell somebody who's telling people to be prepared, how to get prepared, and what to do in case of an emergency? You know why, ladies and gentlemen? They don't want you to be prepared. They don't want you to know what to do when this time is coming.
Yeah, no. They need you vulnerable.
They need you vulnerable, because then you'll do what exactly. I'm gonna tell you something, because if little Ray say, "Daddy, I'm hungry," and all we got is one bowl of Fruit Loops left. You gonna do what they say do, because you gonna do. And then mama's out there by herself. Same little mama who was mad about the little girl talking about, she gonna do what they say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
You
saying?
gonna capitulate.
That's right. You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might even let her go over to stepmama's house if it come down to that so she can eat.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, get prepared for a different world in which you live. Ladies and gentlemen, get prepared for a time coming like you've never seen before. I'm talking about bigly. And then the president say, a bigly time. If you can't stay in your house without leaving right now, this what just we just had this shooting here in DC.
Mm-hmm.
This shooting in DC is just prep work for I'm a conspiracy theorist. I didn't think I was, but they done got me.
Yeah.
They done got me. If because I can see that if they can make this work in Washington D.C.,
mm-hmm.
somebody they say he's some guy from another country to shot. That's what they've been needing.
Yeah.
To say, oh, the Republicans are in it. They need a swell to go the other way.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have a lot of new elections coming on. We need some power. So if we got to hire somebody to say, shoot somebody.
Yeah.
We got to find, even if they're the wrong people, they got to look like that.
Yeah. You got to look like somebody who we trying to protect you from.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if anything comes down in within this year, over the next year, we're at the end of this year, and if you can't survive outside of your house under martial law for a few days, but they have a national shutdown because the National Guard is here and nobody can go to work, nobody can go to the store.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? It's coming that way. And that's something else. We've been talking about this cryptocurrency. The government's getting ready to shut this thing down to where all this money this money that we have is cash money.
Oh, it's going
cash money. You won't be
cashless society.
Cash. It's going to be a cashless society. They're going to shut it down. They're going to give you a portion of what you have in the bank, maybe, and the rest is going to be nothing.
Oh yeah.
I know it's a lot of y'all out here, y'all church going, good Christians. Y'all gonna take that market. Yeah. Y'all ain't gonna realize you're gonna take that market fees when it's time when there ain't no food in the house. You got to take that card to say, it's your cryptocurrency. It's coming down to that. That's what it's all walking down to. Now, yeah, TJ Daddy crazy. I'm gonna be crazy till the day this happens. Then I'm gonna be the smartest man in the room.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, we ain't gonna be in the same room. So you better get crazy where you are and start preparing yourself. And look, if we wrong and we done stored this food and we done got ourselves together, next family reunion, you got the rice. You got the beans. You know what I'm saying? You just donate your rice and beans.
Yeah.
You know, hey, make a big old deal for everybody. But ladies and gentlemen, we've enjoyed ourselves tonight.
Yeah.
And we've had a good time with you. And I could keep this on and on and on and on. I've come from a long line of this. But I'm gonna tell you, I just like to leave something with you. Times are changing. We must be prepared. We must make ourselves uncomfortable in these uncomfortable times to be ready. Y'all go to church. Y'all done heard the word. You understand what I'm saying? You want to say, well, the Lord gonna take care of it. The Lord is taking care of it. He's telling you right now. Get yourself together. Get your house in order.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? The time of plenty, the time of lack. Y'all remember that sermon? The one with the give you one more. I ain't trying to preach to you because that ain't what I do. Remember those when they was waiting on the wedding party and they had the oil and they ran out of oil. They ran into town. Hey, can we get some more? Man, so we done close the place down. We ain't doing no more business tonight. So they run around all over town. The wedding party done come and gone because they wasn't prepared. Are you gonna be prepared? Hey, you better start thinking about it. Noah said it was gonna rain for 120 years. I heard somebody say, when they went by the Noah's place and they said, knocked on the door. Noah said, I hear you knocking, but you can't get in. Come back tomorrow and try it again. See, I done told you over and over and over and over and over again. It's gonna rain. It's raining. Been 2 weeks now, huh? The water ain't stopped. Ladies and gentlemen, start getting yourself together. Look, it's a little. They said, what is that? A word to the wise should be sufficient.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll know if you wise or not if you take a word. And like I say, I'll be the crazy one, but I'm gonna be the smartest man in the room. This comes down. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna see you later. It was good being with you tonight.
All right, listen, we'll do it again. We might have to start us just an old father-son podcast, man, just having conversations with you guys. So and I know Santa's gonna be like, y'all want to be here the next time when y'all do this. So, but shout out to each and every one of you guys. And hope y'all enjoy your Colonizers Day. Yeah, I call it Colonizers Day because think about it. The day they celebrate Thanksgiving is the day that pretty much officially started the whole chattel slavery, the death of the Indians, the reservation putting all the trilogy, all that stuff is pretty much this day we're celebrating. Because what are we celebrating? What, the Pilgrims coming over and learning from the Indians, and then all of a sudden, once they taught them how to survive on this land, then turned around and killed them because they realized and recognized, we got something y'all ain't got, which is guns. And understand they could not compete with the Indians unless they had something mechanical, because the Indians was whooping their ass. So they said, but we got this gun, and he who has the gun makes the rules. And that's been the line that they have used since the beginning of time, all right? Or since they created the guns. Right. So I don't sit around and celebrate Colonizer Day. Yeah, we go out and hang out with family, whatever, but you ain't going to see me tell somebody happy Thanksgiving. Not happening, because we had to come back and talk about Thanksgiving, the Easter, and the Christmas, and what is we celebrating them for. But that'd be a whole nother show.
Oh, I'm waiting on that. I'm waiting on that one.
So with that being said, also and as a tease, when we talk about those other ones, we'll talk about what that little halo is over that little white Jesus that be in y'all church is behind his head. Y'all seen that picture with that little thing around that little white Jesus head? And you think it's a halo, we'll talk about that on that show. So y'all got to stay tuned to the next one. This has been the last podcast. We'll see you guys on the next edition if this was not the last podcast.